This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. And, well, we got through a couple of the cup stuff yesterday, so let's get through that big time Connor McDavid news this morning that our captain is the Rocket Richard winner and the Art Ross Trophy winner as well. So a pretty big addition to the trophy case for Connor McDavid in the form of the Rocket Richard, which, hey, we all knew from the very start that this was probably going to be the year, so we're not minding that at all for what he has done for us this season. Although, I think, if you watched last year, we got kind of a hint that it was going to happen. But friends, before we get there, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button here this morning. Would love to have you aboard for all things Edmonton Oilers and the playoff run this year. Like I said, we've got at least 16 games to go in this playoff run because it's going to take 16 wins at bare minimum to win the Stanley Cup. But as I'm saying about that hint that we got from Connor McDavid last year was just his playoff performance, right? The points were there. He racked them up in bunches. He was dominant throughout the entire playoffs. When he wanted to win a game, he could win the game himself, right? There was a lot going on there for Connor McDavid last playoffs that told us, hey, this season was going to be special coming up, right? He got that close to the Cup final, and he wanted to go back. But what we didn't expect is, as Leon Draisaitl predicted in the preseason over there in, I believe it was France, saying that Connor would score 60 goals. And, oh, by the way, as well, like just figuring out that Connor McDavid actually was going to fill the net and do it very, very consistently. I don't think many of us would have realized right away as soon as, maybe as soon as that Canucks game on opening night where we saw the hat trick from Connor McDavid and the come from behind effort to save Jack Campbell's little start of the season there. You know what? Honestly, I don't think any of us expected this to be as dominant as it ended up being, but as the season went along, as the season went along, I think it got very, very clear that Connor McDavid was not going to stop until he hit 150 points. And obviously after he hit 150 points, I don't think he was near as dominant as he was for stretches of the season. But again, too, Connor just had to kind of scale back the minutes, rest up a bit, enjoy those little moments in the games where the team had already won and allow the other guys to pile in goals and just go out there and do your thing, right? 150 points, 60 goals, just about 90 assists was going to do it for Connor McDavid this season, and it did. And when I'm saying do it is this right here. 64 goals, 89 assists, 153 points. This graphic is from NHL Stats, basically showing off the entire leaderboard for NHL outright leader in goals, assists, and points in a single season in NHL history. And what you see here is some pretty legendary names, I must say, right? You're seeing a guy like Wayne Gretzky. You're seeing a guy like Phil Esposito. You're seeing a guy like Gordie Howe and Howie Morenz. Hold up. Why don't we see anyone else? Because no one else has ever done it. Connor McDavid is one of 5 guys all time to lead the NHL in points, assists, and goals at the same time at the end of an NHL season. When I'm saying we didn't know how dominant this season was going to be, it took to the very final seconds of the year to really encapsulate everything that Connor McDavid has done this season. And here's where, right, we're already past the halfway mark of the video, I'd say, in my opinion. But you look at this list, and man, that is some legendary names. Those are guys who have won multiple things in their careers many times over. Wayne Gretzky in particular, you look at that stretch from 81, 82, 82, 83, 83, 84, 84, 85, down year in 85, 86 apparently, and then 86, 87. But that is just absolutely insane to think that that's kind of the year that Connor McDavid had this year, is that it's up there with the best years of Gretzky. It's up there with the best years of Phil Esposito. It's up there with the best years of Gordie Howe in the 50s. And it's up there with a guy like Howie Morenz all the way back in 27, 28. But friends, that's where it really comes down to the best is yet to come. For Connor McDavid, we are yet to see his best hockey because you know what? Last year was a great year for Connor. Last year was a special year for Connor in the regular season. But guess what? The best part of his season came in the playoffs. And now, with our captain having as much playoff experience as he does, right? He's been there in 17, been there in 20, been there in 21, been there in 22, and now is going back to the NHL playoffs for the fourth straight year. That's what actually kind of blows me away about this. The Edmonton Oilers have made the NHL playoffs for 4 straight years. Now, you can say what you want about the 20 playoffs there, but the NHL does count it as a playoff appearance, as we learned, because of the Pittsburgh Penguins streak continuing on until this year when they finally missed out on the top 16. So that's where we're at, right? If Connor McDavid's going to give us his best hockey here in the next 2 months to lead us to a Stanley Cup after a season that, sorry, hold up, how many points? 153? We haven't seen that since the 80s. And honestly, you're going to talk about Connor McDavid putting up a season like that and then following it up with a Stanley Cup win, hopefully. I'm for sure it's happening, but I don't want to speak that into existence for someone else. And secondary to that, just a dominant all-around playoffs to get us that cup. So that's where I'm really excited to see what happens here from Connor McDavid, right? The trophies, the awards, the All-Star nominations, the whatevers don't matter to Connor. We know that. He's been over that since about 2018. What matters to Connor now is obviously winning that Stanley Cup, and this is by far and above our best chance we have to do it at long last. So we'll see if the Edmonton Oilers can indeed do it starting Monday against the LA Kings at 8 p.m. on what will be a late night that night, the first day back to work after the weekend, and then we're going to stay up till midnight, but we will get that job done. I'm just hoping for no overtime. We can save the overtime for game 4 or game 3? Game 3 on Friday night. That would be fantastic if the Oilers could just save the overtime for game 3. Let's rip long into the night on Friday night and see the Oilers win and say like triple overtime. Do you think we could do that? I think that would be fantastic. But friends, hopefully before going all the way through triple overtime, Connor McDavid just says, no, we're going to bed, scores a goal and finishes us off. All the fantasies aside, friends, it was one of the most dominant seasons in history, right? Is how many times has this happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 times. This happened 9 times in NHL history over the course of the 100+ years of the league, and Connor McDavid is one of the guys who has done it. Friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.